What's going on, guys? FadeitLuie here, bringing you guys a brand new video. We're going to be doing a 12-minute haircut tutorial, so stay tuned. We started off by saturating the hair and combing everything in place and then holding up the hair. You always want to separate the bottom half from the top half, especially when the hair is long. Now that we're done making our canvas as neat as possible, we can move on to our gold effects and create our first guideline. You always want to contour your first guideline to their head shape. It makes the fade look a lot better. Now that we're done budding them out, we can move on to our no guard all the way open and create our second guideline. Closing the lever all the way and midway will help you erase that initial guideline. I'm also using my opposite hand to hold down the skin so it doesn't jump up when I move with the clipper. Now that we're done erasing our initial guideline, we can move on to the one guard all the way open and create our third guideline. Here, I'm using the comb to feed the hair into the clipper. I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated, man. Thank you. We're going to be using the same one guard but the lever to soften up the line and get it ready for the half guard. Now that we're done softening up the line, we can move on to the half guard and erase the line completely. Sometimes there's a little bit of a faint line still after using the half guard, so using the no guard all the way open and its corners to remove that line will help. Now we're moving on to the two guard all the way open and we're using the comb to feed the hair into the clipper. Remember to use the lever to soften up the line and get it ready for the next guard, which will be the 1.5 guard. Now that we're done softening up the line with the 2 guard, we can move on to the 1.5 guard and erase the line completely. Again, sometimes there's still a faint line after using this, so moving on to the 1 guard all the way open will help you erase that line. Now we're moving on to our 1 guard all the way open to erase that faint line. We're continuing to move up in guards, and now we're switching over to our 3 guard all the way open, and again we're using the comb to feed the hair into the clipper while we flick out. Remember to always detail with your previous guards. Now I'm going to be using my clipper over comb method to debulk. We're also going to be finishing up the blend. Now we're going to be cutting the beard down to a 1.5 guard all the way open, which is equivalent to a 2 guard all the way closed, just a smaller guard. Now that we're done debulking the beard, we're gonna move on to fading the beard. I always start off with my no guard all the way open and slowly use the lever to blend out the line. Then I switch to my 1 guard all the way open and then my 1.5 guard all the way open and use the lever between those guards. Moving on to his neckline, you want to make sure his neck and skin is nicely stretched because the teeth of the trimmer can bite him. Before I line up the bottom of the beard, I always like to lay my client down. It's more comfortable for the client and also it gives you more steadiness. Now that we're done with the beard, we can move on to his front line. As you guys know, I always start off from the middle and work my way to the sides. You always want to remember to feed the hair into the trimmer very slowly, because if you go too fast, the hair won't feed into the trimmer and it won't cut. Now we're moving on to the C cup. I'm starting off at the bottom and working my way to the top arch. Man, them lines are coming out real crispy. Again, I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Also, leave a comment down below if you made it this far into the video. I'm definitely gonna reply. Moving on to the top, we're gonna saturate the hair and comb it in place. Now we're gonna grab a piece of hair and continue to make a guideline across the head. Now we're following the top guideline through the sides. Moving on to our Turkish razor Derby Premium blades, we're gonna make them as crispy as possible. We're also gonna do his eyebrows. What's going on, guys? FadeitLuie here, bringing guys a brand new video. We're going to be doing a mid-taper on my boy, so stay tuned. We started off by creating our first guideline, contouring to the back of his neck. Now that we're done balding him out, we can move on to our no guard all the way open and create our second guideline. Using your lever midway and all the way closed will help you erase that initial guideline. Now that we're done erasing our initial guideline, we can move on to the one guard all the way open and create our third guideline. Using the lever and the one guard, we're going to soften up the line and get it ready for the half guard. Now that we're done softening up the line, we can move on to the half guard and erase the line completely. Now we're going to move on to the two guard all the way open and use our comb to feed the hair into the clipper. Using this guard, we're going to use the lever to soften up the line and get it ready for the 1.5 guard. I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated, man. Thank you. Before we erase the line with our 1.5 guard, we're going to move on to our 3 guard all the way open and go ahead and stack our guard. Now we switched over to the 1.5 guard and we're going to erase the line completely. Sometimes there's still a faint line, so switching over to your 1 guard all the way open and using its corners will help you. Now I'm using the 4 guard all the way open to debulk, and I'm also using the combs to feed the hair into the clipper. That is very important, because if you just go with your clipper, it's going to push the hair up and it won't cut properly. Now we're moving on to our clipper oval comb method, and we're continuing to blend into the rest of the fade. Remember to tilt your comb at a certain degree, whichever degree is needed, and to cut slowly so the hair feeds into the clipper. Now we're moving on to our shears. We're going to grab the hair and cut at a diagonal. Make sure you keep your fingers as straight as possible. You don't want to cut yourself. Of course, always add detail with your no guard all the way open and your 1 guard all the way open. Now that we're done with the back taper, we can move on to the neckline. I started off at the bottom and worked my way to the top arch, just like my C-cups. Remember to take your time, you don't want to arch this line too high. Now we're creating our first guideline to our taper. We're using our foil shaver to remove all the stubble, and then we're going to move on to our no guard all the way open, creating our second guideline. Remember to use the lever to blend your initial guideline out. Having it closed and midway would definitely help. Now we're moving on to the one guard all the way open, and we're creating our third guideline. We're continuing to follow that rainbow shape. We don't want to go too high because he does have a lot of bulk on the sides. Now that we're done softening up the line with the one guard, we can move on to the half guard and erase the line completely. We're going to pin up the hair before we debulk the side. Now we're using our 3 guard all the way open to debulk. Now we're moving on to our clipper over comb method, and we're tilting our clipper comb to a certain degree so we could cut and it could blend perfectly into the top. Now we're using our 4 guard all the way open, and we're continuing to blend. Now that we got our base, we can continue to detail and go to our previous guards. Now we're moving on to the C cups. We're starting our way at the bottom and working our way to the top arch. You don't want to press too hard in this area, especially if your trimmers are sharp. Here we're detailing with our 1.5 guard all the way open. Now we switch to our 1 guard all the way open, and we're continuing to use our corners to detail. Now that we're done with the taper, we can move on to the front line. And first, I always start off by debulking with the 1 guard all the way open, and then I continue to line him up. He does have a little bit of a widow peak, so we're going to start off at the middle and work our way to the sides. Now we're going to cut the top. We separated the front bangs from the top, and now we're going to create our first guideline through the middle and work our way to the sides. Again, I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe is greatly appreciated. Now we're moving on to the Turkish Razor and Derby Premium blades, and we're going to make them as crispy as possible. We're also going to do his eyebrows and goatee. Always make sure you stretch the skin and keep the blade at a 45-degree angle.